Good morning, everyone. This is John with Gun Deals, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Colt Commando, or the LE6933. But before we get into the video, if you don't know, Gun.Deals is a website that provides you with links to some of the best products and prices in the industry. Now, very importantly, they don't buy or sell anything. They can only point you in the right direction, so if saving money on cool stuff is of interest to you, go ahead and check them out. Once again, that is Gun.Deals. Now, while you're already here, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, as that is all free and does help us out quite a bit. Also, go ahead and comment your favorite kind of classic retro upper in the comments down below. Now, full disclosure on the Colt LE6933 is that we have absolutely no relationship with Colt for this review. We picked this up for full retail price, which was about $400 from, I believe we got it from Brownells, but we have no relationship with Brownells or Colt for this review, so just know that going forward. Now, getting into what is the Colt LE6933, this is an 11.5-inch 5.56 chrome-lined barrel and a stripped upper receiver. Now, you can get the 6933 in several different varieties. You can get it just the stripped upper as we did for around $400 to $500 depending on where you pick it up. You can get the complete upper receiver with bolt carrier group, charging handle, and rear sight for around $800, so quite a step up in price for not that much extra. Or of course, you can get the full SBR for around $1,200 to $1,500 if you want the complete Colt package. Now, I'm not really going to get into Colt nowadays all that much. There have been some other channels that have gone deep into who's actually making all of the Colt components, some of the stuff that is no longer made in-house, a lot of the stuff is outsourced. So in some ways, this is a Colt upper receiver, but also a bit of a mystery meat upper as well. However, we'll get into the quality, and there is certainly a level of quality here for the money, because they're not charging all that much money if you get the stripped upper. So for around $400, $450 for just the stripped 11.5-inch 5.56 upper receiver, throw in your own BCG and charging handle, just mil-spec, simple stuff for about $100. And now you have a complete upper receiver from a very highly regarded name for around $550, which again is not too bad. Now, the most important component on the upper receiver is, of course, going to be the barrel, so we'll go ahead and get into that now. This is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, 11.5 inches, 5.56, 1-in-7 right-hand twist. This is a button rifled barrel. I believe it is 4150 chrome molybdenum steel, and it is chrome lined. Now, these replacement barrels with the front sight block and barrel nut assembly by themselves are around $400 or $350 to $400. So when you buy the stripped upper, you're basically getting the upper receiver and the assembly for free, which is quite nice. So this barrel in this 11.5-inch configuration with the pinned front sight block is what most people are going to be buying it for. Fortunately, it is a very high quality barrel, as we'll get into accuracy later on. It is a little bit over gaspable. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but it gives it that classic retro commando look, if you will, that a lot of people are looking for. And again, the barrel is, even if it's not necessarily made by Colt at this point, I can only theorize who is actually making the barrel, but the barrel is a very high quality barrel. Now, on the front sight block, we of course have our bayonet lug, our swing swivel, adjustable front sight post, and an A2 flash hider to finish it off with the plastic fantastic classic handguard. Moving back to the upper receiver on the build, this is a Colt M4 marked upper receiver, which is something that some people are very particular on their upper receivers. Does it have the real M4 logo on it? That sort of thing. If you're a builder or a cloner of some sort or collector of that sort of thing, it will be important to you, but for most people it's something that you won't really ever notice. It is T-marked on top if you care about such things. Other than that, it is a standard 7075 T6 aluminum mil-spec upper receiver, standard forward assist, standard dust cover. Nothing really special there. Now, the gas system length on this barrel is a carbine length gas system, which is perfectly appropriate for an 11.5-inch barrel. The gas port, unfortunately, is a little bit oversized, as we'll get into in just a minute. With full power ammunition like M193, hot M193, carbine buffers, carbine springs, I was getting ejection of around 1 o'clock to 1:30, so it is certainly punchy, certainly overgas, not the most soft shooting upper receiver on the market. When I was running it most of the time, it was with an H3 buffer, which would slow down that ejection pattern a little bit, somewhere around the 2 o'clock range, so still not great, but definitely better than with just carbine buffers and springs. Now, with the upper receiver being a little bit on the gassy side, even with heavy buffers and springs, the only issue that I had with it is the same issue that I've had with basically every upper that I've been testing lately, is with this crappy bunch of steel case ammunition that I got in. I've been getting stuck cases in the chamber, and it's happened in, again, basically every upper that I've tested of late with that ammunition, because that ammunition is just garbage. So again, other than that garbage lot of steel case ammunition that I got in, everything else that I put through it, even of just medium quality, has performed flawlessly. Again, it's just a little bit more punchy than other upper receivers will be that are a little softer gas. Not a big deal. We still are talking about 5.56, but just know that it's going to be a little bit punchier than a lot of other upper receivers on the market. So the barrel is certainly overgassed, definitely on the gassy side. So as a direct or a dedicated suppressor host, probably not the best upper receiver for that sort of thing. But the second side of that is the upper receiver at least accurate with that very high quality barrel? So as you guys can see, over a wide variety of loads and grain weights, it was basically keeping everything under 2 MOA, which again, we're talking about 11.5-inch 5.56. That is not free floated. I would say that is very, very acceptable accuracy. If you wanted to take this out to 400 or 500 yards, you're probably not going to have that big of an issue, again, with that very acceptable level of accuracy. Now, for the accuracy testing, we were using this new Primary Arms SLX. This is their new 1 to 10 model, which is a fairly decent scope. We'll review this at some point in the future, I am sure. Probably a little overkill for an 11.5-inch 5.56, but it worked really well for what we were doing on the day. So what you're getting when you get this upper receiver is a very good starting point. The main downside of it is going to be that that barrel is overgassed. The other side of that is that it is a very accurate barrel, a very high quality barrel with chrome lining, so it is going to give you an extended service life, and it's not too terribly expensive, coming in and around again that $400, $450 mark, especially if you find a good deal on it or get it on sale. So at the end of the day, I would certainly say that the asking price for this upper receiver, it does have a comparable level of value, and it's certainly a good starting point. Swap out the handguard, throw on a light optic, BCG charging handle, and for about probably $800, you have a very capable setup that's going to be accurate and reliable as long as you're feeding it at least mediocre ammunition. It's going to be a little overgassed, a little punchy, but again, you are getting a very high quality barrel that is going to last you a very long time and without breaking the bank. You can certainly do things cheaper with other upper receivers on the market, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad option. It is kind of in that mid-range, mid-tier in terms of quality and cost, and it does at least provide a good level of value for what they're charging for it. So, is this the best starter upper receiver on the market? Probably not. Is it a very good option if you're in that price range and you want to kind of throw together your own setup a little bit? I would say absolutely, especially if you like that classic Commando-esque look. So, with all of that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the 6933 in the comments down below. And with all that out of the way, guys, hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace off.